Seliphinde lafika lelo thuba lokuthi phela sihlangane siphathele esinye isiqephu sokunifundisa la ohlelweni lenu Yilungelo Lakho. It's your right. We're coming to you live here kumahamba phambili SABC 1 eMzansi for sure. Ngiyanibingelela kuzo zonke izindawo babukeli. Mina ngiyintokazi yakajali uAlisha Ungcolosi. Ngithi namhlanje ke sicela kusondele abasha kanye nabadala. Ukhumbule phela ukuthi emva kwekhefu sizovula izingcingo nisishayele nisibuze imibuzo noma nibeke imbono. Alliance 011-714-6918 and 714-6919. Ungasithumela email ku consumer@sabc.co.za noma usithole lapha ku Facebook or Twitter. Sawubona mbukeli.
Africa is not stable and will never be stable if our young people are taken care of. And the way to take care of them is financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship.
We're the most unequal country in the world, and we absolutely need a better understanding and a link between individuals, who they are, their purpose, capital, and opportunity.
We then take them along and we teach them, where the parents get the money from, how they must use what they have, how they must budget, and then also we have entrepreneurship as a major activity in the curriculum, where learners have to do their own little businesses in school.
All right, Mbogeli, financial literacy plus a spirit of entrepreneurship multiplied by a structured school curriculum is equal to what South Africa needs in order to secure a prosperous economic future for its youth. Well, this is one of the views that emerged at an international seminar the Banking Association of South Africa and the Department of Basic Education hosted here in Pretoria. The gathering was held in a bid to learn how other countries equip their youth with skills that are critical to addressing socio-economic challenges in their communities. Uvuyisile Mdoda wenze nanku uMbiwo.
Noxa wayesakuba ngumongameli we-ANC efudula ukuba ngumfundisi nsapho Oliver Tambo sewayokubeka ikhaya lokugqibela, kodwa ikhwelo lakhe lokuba ulutsha maluxhotyiswe ngezakhono lusaphila.
It is O.R. Tambo who taught us that a nation that does not take care of its youth has no future, and in fact, it does not deserve a future.
Hiyo lonto abasemagunyeni bebila besonga bezama ukuthintela ikamva elimfiliba. Ikamva apho isizukulwana esizayo siya kuzifumana singakwazi ukuthatha inxaxheba uqoqosho lweli kuba lulambatha ngezakhono. Ukuphepha inhlekele njalo kuye kwayilwa ngokutsha isilabhasi yenkqubo yesikolo ngenjongo zokubethela inkcubeko kwezorhwebo kwasebuncinaneni. Sekuyiminyaka iBanking Association of South Africa kunye namasebe emfundo ephansi besingatha amaphulo agxininisa ukubaluleka kolwazi ngemali. Kulo nyaka kuthe kwamenywa iingcali eziphuma kumanye amazwe ngenjongo zokufumana iingcebiso.
Nurturing young people with this social financial entrepreneurship education at an early age will help us shaping their future, giving them the skills, and also it's easier for young people to get to know the concept easily when they are younger.
Rediet Abiy ngumlawuli wombutho i-Aflatoun International. Umsebenzi lombutho kukuvuselela abantwana kunye nolutsha kwihlabathi liphela ngokubaluleka kokonga nokusebenzisa imali. Uthi nangona abantu beyonga imali kodwa kusekho into efuna kulungiswa.
There is no structured way of providing additional information because the world is changing every day, and we have to also be able to provide young people with this information, with this change on social, financial and entrepreneurship education on an up-to-date basis.
Lombutho uqeqesha abafundi kunye notishala kumazwe ngaphezulu kwekhulu. Ugxila kwindlela yokucwangcisa, ukubhajeta, ukonga imali kunye nezinye izinto ezibalulekileyo kunye nokwakha amashishini. Uye ufune ukuzibuza ukuba ingaba uMzantsi Afrika ngowuphi na ukuba oku kwakufakwe kwisilabhasi kwamandulo.
I think it would be a different place altogether. Because what it does is it doesn't only look at basic knowledge content, it looks at developing skills. It actually teaches you to take the risk, to dare, and to be creative, whereas, you know, we didn't have that.
uMzantsi Afrika ukwiphulu lokuphuhlisa osomashishini into encomeka kakhulu nengenza umahluko xa ujonga ukungalingani phakathi koluntu.
Entrepreneurship is a state of mind, and we believe that we're going to get to young people and get them to rethink who they are in relation to their purpose, and only then think of how money enables them connecting to that purpose. Now it sounds airy-fairy because most people would say just start a business. But we think differently. You see, our country is largely a nation of consumers. Entrepreneurs are producers of value. And if we can get them young enough and they can produce value, then they build viable businesses, as opposed to creating something just so they can win for themselves.
uPhilip Mlambo ngusomashishini okhasayo waseZimbabwe uthi imeko enkenenkene yoqoqosho ityhalele iintanga zakhe ukuba zingaluthathi ushishino njengendlalo.
The need is all over the place. We would think that it's a Zimbabwean thing, but it's an African thing. It's a regional thing. Everyone in this sub-region needs their young people to think business, to know money, and not to fear money.
Ngaphandle kuba abantwana besikolo baxhotyiswa ngezakhono zoshishino nokulawula imali, uMzantsi Afrika uyakuhluthwa abemi abanengqondo nezakhono zokusombulula iingxaki ezifana nokuhlupheka kunye nentswelangqesho. Kuvuyisile Mdoda, Yilungelo Lakho.
And now to further discuss the importance of encouraging financial literacy and entrepreneurship among the youth, let's extend a very warm welcome to Sisfigile Gohlase from the Banking Association of South Africa. We're also joined by Ms. Waheeda Carvello from the Department of Basic Education. Sinai futhi uput Ephraim Khosana Yenage. He coordinates the Banking Association of South Africa's Financial Education Program. A very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. Siyabonga kakhulu Alisha.
Sisifikela ke siqale ngawe nisichazeleni umkhakha enivela kuwona ukuthi wenzani.
I-Banking Association yi-industry body representa onke amabhangi operator eSouth Africa. Sina 32 member banks. And as a banking association, we drive the agenda of financial inclusion. So sifuna wonke umuntu ukuthi participate ku-economy. So for us, it is very important to support financial literacy because financial literacy is the core platform for financial inclusion.
Waheeda, we know about the Basic Education Department, but tell us why the need to establish such a program.
It is an absolute must. In fact, it's fundamental. Purely because, as we heard in the insert, Pat spoke about you know, we being a consumer society, and we need to move more into being manufacturers and producers. And one can only do that if you are able to understand what finances is all about, able to understand the basics and how to manage your money. And I think that's where it starts. And it is important, you know, for us to start with our learners when they are very young.
Absolutely.
And, you know, many times, you know, we'll look at young children playing and you'll see them bartering with each other. You know, I like your toy and I'll give you one of mine if you give me two of yours.
Yes.
And it's actually innate. And I think, you know, what happens is as we grow older, we get molded and we get told, you mustn't think that way, you mustn't be creative, you know, you get boxed in. So I think this is where, when we look at the program that BASA has, you know, in terms of financial literacy, we feel that, you know, it is very, very important. And when it comes to schooling, you know, everybody feels that school is where you know, where you're going to get the right kind of education and skills. And what we felt as the Department of Basic Education is let us start getting our learners to look at this in a more serious way, but in a fun way. And I think that's the big thing, is for them to be able to be creative whilst learning. And although the curriculum intends this, you know, many times in practice in the classroom, it doesn't really happen. So when we have programs and projects like what Banking Association has to offer, such as the Star Savers, the financial literacy spelling bee. It gives the children an opportunity to have a different take on what teaching and learning is all about. And particularly when we started with Teach Your Child to Save, it was just so amazing, you know, for the learners to see this banking official come in and give the lesson. And you know, the teachers learned as well while they were, you know, for the change, the teachers stood back and learned from the banking officials. And it was just the joy and the excitement in those little faces that we realized that you're doing it right, because, you know, they would not stop talking about that when they'd get home. Wow. And then coming back to that, we then feel that, you know, learners, whatever they learn and excited about, they can't wait to get home to tell their parents. And in this way, the parents come in, and this is where we look at financial inclusion, because it's not only about what happens at school or what happens when a program comes into the school. It is how the learners take it back home, because that is when they start consolidating what they've learned.
Yes, Waheeda, I mean, we'll get into more details of that in a short while. But Ephraim, wena umhlanganiswa yonke lento between usisifigile and the education department, osichazele kabanzi ngomsebenzi wakho.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. What we do, it's like we have recruited young people, the unemployed young people, and then we
Muthi young people ukhuluma ngobani butwa mhlambe mungasinikeza ibrackets nje yeminyaka.
You're looking at young people abasebaqedile kwisikole.
Okay.
You know, yeah, from the ages of 18 up until to 25, 26. Okay. No, yeah. Those are unemployed young people, and then we train them on financial literacy, you know, and also on social education. Then we use them as facilitators in schools. They go to schools and then they teach on social and financial literacy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And mostly what happens, it's like the development, for the development, you know, the young people, it is important that we include not only the financial aspect of it, but also put in the social level of it.
I was about to ask.
Yes, because the financial capabilities of it can only be understood and improved on when the young person is developed holistically. You know, so in us going to the schools, we also look at the issues of the social part of it, where we teach young people about the personal development. We teach them about the rights and responsibilities. We teach them about career pathing itself, and also about, you know, having confidence, you know, being able to speak in public and be able to relate to whatever areas of their lives.
So it's basically life skills, life-orientated skills. Okay, we're going to leave it there for this short moment and take a very quick ad break. Sikwamukele futhi mbukeli izingcingo zethu sezivuliwe phela ukuthi nawe ubeke owakho umbono. Remember, our participation lines are 011-714-6918. Uzame futhi ku 714-6919. Ungasithumela email ku consumer@sabc.co.za. Siyatholakala futhi ku Facebook na ku Twitter. Now, Waheeda, is this compulsory when it comes to certain grades at school? And tell us about those grades, and tell us how it works. Actually, do you get marks for this? I mean, how is it, you know, monitored?
Okay. Well, basically, I think as far as South Africa is concerned, we're one of the countries that has it as part of the base, you know, the education and the curriculum. So we've got economic and management sciences, which is a subject that is compulsory for all learners from grade 7 to grade 9. Mm-hmm. So that would mean that all learners in the system, which normally averages out to about 2.8 to 3 million learners at a time, would be, you know, going through the subject and doing the course, you know, that is, or the curriculum that's, you know, deals with the topic we are talking about. And very strategically, the subject looks at 3 main topics. It looks at financial literacy. It has entrepreneurship and the economy as its main topics, on which it then picks all the other content that is taught. And the reason here being that, to empower our learners and to develop the right skills, they need to have a holistic approach, like Ephraim was speaking of earlier.
Yes.
It's no longer what we used to know at school. You have your different subjects that's dedicated. EMS looks at it holistically. In the sense, why is it important for the learner to know about the economy? The economy deals with the needs and wants and looks at, behavior. It looks at what the markets have got, etc., etc. When it comes to financial literacy, we then start looking at explaining to the learners financial terms. We look at showing them explaining to them what savings is, why it is important to budget. And this is where the Star Savers program comes in and supports us as well. And we then also move on with these learners, particularly in grade 7, will then host an Entrepreneurs Day. And like Ephraim was saying that, we're looking at social entrepreneurship and looking at, social, how does the learner fit in socially, and what are the responsibilities of the learners as well to give and take.
Okay.
So what happens here is that we build the learners up to the financial, to the entrepreneurship activity, where they look at the school environment and they do a needs analysis. They go out and they do market research within the school environment. Wow. They then also come back and discuss that in the classroom with the teacher. So it's very activity-based. Okay. And from there, they decide what is it that they're going to sell? What is, what's going to give them that profit at the end of the day? And together with the teacher, they then look at how do they budget for it, what are the expenses, what sales markup. The teacher negotiates with them in terms of looking at, the values. Some learners will want to mark the products up by 300%. And they will say, no, you cannot do that. It's unethical. But looking at all of that, the learners then prepare for the Entrepreneurs Day. And even if their parents help, or if the parents help them to buy the products, they've got to actually reimburse that. So it's not like in the old days where it was your cake and candy sale and you went off with your money. And right up front, the learners are told about this activity. So they prepare themselves, so it's a big thing that happens around about October. And in between, we then have July, which is known as Savings Month. So they go through the whole process. So the curriculum links in very well with the activities that BASA has to offer.
Waheeda, hold it there, because I want if Waheeda is talking about the Star Saver program.
Yes. Star Saver program yaqala ngo July 2008, which is Savings Month, and also it is a program that is aligned to iMandela Day, because other than ukuthi sifundisa abantwana ngokonga imali, it also promotes volunteerism in the sector. So volunteer bankers and financial sector practitioners go into schools nationwide and become the teachers for the day. So it's their way of volunteering and giving back. So a program, we've worked very closely with the Department of Basic Education, because the program is integrated within the economic management science subject. And so what we do as practitioners, we take it from theory to practice. So we have developed my lesson plans for grade 7, 8, and 9 with the assistance of the department, because clearly we are not the educators, they are the educators, but then we bring in our expertise and our experience being the financial sector professionals. So what the program does is, as Waheeda has explained, it looks at various issues in terms of influencing knowledge, attitude, and skills, so that labantu abancane in the future they can make informed financial decisions. Because as we sit, Alicia Manje, we have a big problem in that 67% of South Africans do not save. And
bad savings culture.
Yes, imoto ye Star Saver is ligotsha limanzi, because it's funa ukubathola basebancane and to shape their thinking and their attitudes and their behavior. And so we do that in various ways. I've spoken about the classroom activities. We have edu-camps, where you have financial literacy games, storytelling, industrial theatre. It is fun. We have partnered with Aflatoun International, for instance, our partners who were with us at the regional seminar that took place on the 7th and 8th of April, because they have a child-centered methodology of teaching.
Okay.
And so they put the child at the center of the learning process,
Okay.
and they make it fun. So you learn through play.
All right. Look, but Ephraim, before I take But Derek ngizoza kuwena khona manje before siye Kevin, I just want to understand, but Ephraim, when uhlala usegroundini ubona lezi, how has this program been received?
Well, grounding, ukusho, no, the youth, they are receiving it and they're liking it so much, because what we do is like, it's not only on theoretical part of it, we also put in the practical. They actually go down and start saving and then start budgeting. You know, the elements of budgeting and saving and planning for whatever you do, you know, it's important. And most of the programs that we offer, it's on practical, because young people, they learn by doing.
Yes.
So we give them a project that they're supposed to do. They actually have to go and fundraise for money, find out what can they do in order to raise funds, you know, and then start from there to put their budget, start saving there, and start learning how to execute the project with a given budget that they have already done.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then they are able to do the actual project in their regular schools where they are at.
All right. Well, I guess thatheke manje ubut Derek wase Rustenburg. Nsizwe siyabonga ukuthi ubambe lapho line-ini. Sakwamukela ohlelweni umbuzo noma umbono?
Umbono nombuzo.
Siyaphila bhuti wami. Qhubeka.
Manibotse kuwe sisalishiya.
Yebo bhuti.
Botse nakubabukeli ba-SABC. Mandingafudumeza imvumo mandiyabofela ithole khona. Alishiya lebeva indwendwe zakho. Zithi ziyakuyokwazi ukufundisa abantwana ngebhizinesi. Ngibuza umbuzo wami, zenzobo wafundela ngoba umsebenzi inqabile apha eMzantsi Afrika. Bophuma esikoleni mhlawumbi boke benixhotshiswa ngebhizinesi abantwana bezikolo alishiya. Kwesibili kuthiwe kufuna kufundiswa nokonga. Bokunganjani bengaphangeli alishiya. Ngoba imisebenzi inqabile kwelizwe lase-South Africa alishiya. Andazi kondwendwe ndizawubhabha kuzo alishiya ndikuthela nodelicate mana apha eRustenburg.
But Derek siyabonga kakhulu, uhlale nje kumabone kude wakho, sizothatha ikhefu sibuye khona manje mbukeni. I'll come back. Remember to take part in this show. Please call us 011-714-6918, number 011-714-6919. Email address yethu ayikakashintshi nje isathi consumer@sabc.co.za. Siyatholakala futhi kuma social media platforms. Ithi ngibheka ukuthi nithini lapha ku Facebook. Utabogo Metsing uthi no, the youth are lagging behind due to lack of skills, information, and they have unrealistic expectations. So Soweto Twaibu says, I don't think schooling is addressing enough the lack of entrepreneurship mentality, especially on black community in rural areas. Schools need to encourage pupils to study or choose subjects that will encourage them to be entrepreneurs like science and maths. Right now, children are studying to be employed, not to be entrepreneurs, because they feel that for them to start a business, they need to have money. Thank you so much, Soweto. And of course, Mazila, last but not least for now, says, yes, if youth can be empowered by skills, financial skills and life skills, well, then we can be able to say they are ready. We're going to take your quick comments on those views very quickly, but I just want to take Simtandile from Stellenbosch on the line. Simtandile, siyakwamukela ohlelweni umbuzo noma umbono? Yebo bhuti wami.
Ndiza nombono ne.
Yebo bhuti.
Ndiyacela mani indaswe leaders ne kunye ne-stakeholders they recognize the youth ne ngokuthi zinike i-chance like i-skills and better education yabona. Uba kwenzekile zisithi zifisa ukuthi zifunde for free ne, so zisenza kanjalo ziyazi ukuthi if ufumane education it will change our country ne, so then the better particularly in and then ingase kuphele nalento alishiya ukuthi uqala ukuthi uphuma e-university ne before uqeshe yiloo company iqeshayo funeka ube ne
work experience.
Experience ozoyithatha ukuphuma e-university yabona.
Siyabonga.
Kufanele ukuthi bayijonge loo nto bayazi ukuthi okay bona bavula ii-chances zokuthi nje you are going to train and then mhlawumbi period of 6 months after that you're going to employed ne bangathi nje is an experience from the start yabona.
But
So
sometimes
ndingasebenza kanjalo skills and bayinikwe education youth. Yes, our youth is the leaders of tomorrow.
Siyabonga kakhulu but Simthandile ngalo mbono wakho. Well, he's basically urging various sectors to engage the youth and allow them more opportunities in order to try and better the chances of getting ahead in life when they leave that school. And he actually mentioned something very interesting, but I'm going to get to him now. I want us to address the previous caller's concerns. I mean, South Africa, it's not a secret, Waheeda. South Africa has a serious high rates of youth unemployment. Even graduates can't sometimes find work. Now, our previous caller was saying that if you're teaching savings and business in schools, what are they going to be saving when they don't have anything to save from the start?
Yes, that is a very real problem, and we cannot shy away from it.
Yeah.
And having looked at that, when we were looking at the curriculum, all of that was put on the table, and hence it was thought out very carefully. And the important thing here is that you have to start with what you have. It's easier said than done.
True.
But we have tremendous real practices and case studies where young people, whether at school or out of school, have looked at their situations and said, we're not going to wait for someone to come and give me some kind of funding or money. Let us work with what we can. And I think that is important. I think many times, we expect to get the kind of funding, etc. But what we're encouraging our learners to do is, and even through the curriculum, is that, when we look at money, where do you get the money from? And I'm coming back to the entrepreneurial aspect, because rightfully, if you don't have that in place, then obviously you're not going to have the money to save. So what we basically say to them is that if you don't have the money, and even when we are looking in the classroom, we'll say, look at your own capital. What do you have, or what can you borrow? And if you borrow, how can you go and negotiate with your uncle or your aunt who is going to give you the money? Are they going to charge you interest, or are they going to give it to you because they love you? Are they going to be an angel donor? So can you see all of those complex concepts come into play? And you'll find that many times learners will come and say that, my aunt borrowed me this 30 Rand to start up my entrepreneurship program or Entrepreneurs Day project at school. But then we remind them also through the curriculum that you have to pay back that loan. Yes. It doesn't mean it's once off. And the whole idea here is that we develop the skills and the knowledge and get them excited right from the beginning in school. So as they get older, they are able to take that risk. And I think as South Africans across the board, we are afraid to take the risk. And we also, our messaging is wrong to a large extent with the youth. This is my belief and the way I have seen things. We look at all of these entrepreneurs and people who are successful, and we do not look at where they came from and what were the challenges that they faced, because you only see this, big successful person. And hence we're also looking at social entrepreneurship, because what we're saying is, and if I may cite an example very quickly, we've got another stakeholder we work with, and we do the entrepreneurial activity. And we've had children in a rural school in KZN who actually, together with the science learners, developed their own Stay Soft.
Wow.
And they then started selling that to the community, and they raised funds for learners who didn't have uniform. And with that, it became a business. And they also did their social, they gave back to the gogos in the village who were looking after children. And, they'd go and help them on Saturdays and Sundays to clean up and wash them and get them, get the learners to come to school clean. So it's happening. It's just that it takes time. And for us as the Department of Education, it's also capacitating our teachers to be the kind of teacher that doesn't stand there and lecture, but the kind of teacher who is knowledgeable and is able to get the learners to get excited and to start saying, but I can do this.
Yes,
and that's the whole idea. The fact that, starting and we look at savings already from the foundation phase, which is from your grade R to grade 3, going upwards, but there it is taught in life orientations and life skills.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think I'll just stop there, otherwise I'll carry on.
No, we'll carry on just now, Waheeda. So speaking, look, ngiyamuza Waheeda uyakhuluma. I hope abantwana bezi bazolana apha ebank bazocela ama loans ukuthi baqede lama projects.
Well, ngicela ukuzama ukuphendula uBut Derek noSithembile. Kuthi siba involved with the initiatives that we get involved in because we realize that youth comprises of 60% of our population in South Africa. And youth unemployment sits at between 60 and 70%. So why we also get involved is that you cannot divorce saving from entrepreneurship. As much as we want to encourage young people to be entrepreneurs, because we don't want them just to be job seekers, because the jobs are not there. We are very much aware of that. And so that's why for us, the economic management science subject, which is about financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and the economy, makes sense for us to actually support much more.
All right, let me quickly take uBut Lakho lapha eferini before siye ekhefini. But Lakho, siyabonga ukubamba insizwa. Ithi nje qaba sesiye ekhefini insizwa.
Lithena mama bonke abantu esebasungulile amabhizinisi abangafawundeki kusuke kwenzeka kanjani kanti okwesibili kulabantu abanama cooperative kungani bona bangatholi ama founding eduze noma mhlambe inkinga umasipala wethu noma mhlambe kuneminyango eminye esingayazi noma kumele sithole ma.
Okay, but siyabonga kakhulu But Lakho sizokuphendula nje mesibuya kuleli khefu. Mbukeli, let's take another quick ad break. Please join us shortly after this. Mbukeli sesibuyile indaba yethu ke yanamhlanje imayelana phela nomkhakha omusha ohlanganisa izifundo nomsebenzi okusho ukuthi Department of Education neBanking Association of South Africa sebehlangane bathi kungcono ukuthi umfundi abe efunda ngalokho phela kuzomsiza uma ephuma esikoleni. Amwethu sesifikile of iBasa Waheeda of the Education Department kanye noBut Ephraim yena ke uhlanganisa lemkhakha yombili. Ake sibone ukuthi nithini lapha ku Facebook. Usinazo Snairo uthi more skills of course. Tembela Maqwele, the big problem we are facing as youth is that we lack skills or the lack of skills, the lack of information, poor education, as well as how to save money. Honorable Rediet says, I think it should be compulsory for schools to teach the youth about the wealth management because South Africa needs wealth, not money. At Rediet's village, I like that.
Ista Saver in a wealth cycle efundisayo. I-wealth cycle yethu sithi ilesi.
Okay.
Slang or totital would be maybe a small lesson.
Okay.
L meaning learn, E for earn, S for save, S for spend, I for invest. And we believe if you get these 5 aspects right, you are on your way to creating wealth for yourself.
But Ephraim, bakhala ngokuthi there's not enough awareness or education around lama skills. Ngabe lama projects lawa available kuma public and private schools na nokuthi futhi nizoya nini ku nation yonke?
We try siyazama kakhulu ukuthi sifikelele ku sonke isikolo. No, but kule school esizikuzo, I mean we are partnering with other NGOs in order to deliver on this so that we can be able to sibe kuzo zonke izikolo.
Okay.
Yes, and we're also building ambassadors, young people that will be trained and also be able to
go teach others.
To teach others, you know, because especially mabega abantwana youth yethu, you know, we usually learn from peer-to-peer education. You know, it's easy to learn from umuntu lengana nami, you know, especially when we're talking about entrepreneurship. You know, the question asked earlier on, Wuti, how will I save if I don't have money? But I mean. Yes, silogo sihlala sithi uzoyithola kanjani uhlele khona. No masikhula silogo thola amasutinyana ayi2 lawa uyathengisa. And then in that way you are learning the entrepreneurship skills. And then through that you learn like the less way you learn, where you learn the skills, you learn the information and the products, and then you start finding out how can I do, what else can I do? Can I go wash the teacher's car? What else can I do in order to get money? And about saving also, it's not only about saving money. You know, there are so many things that you can save. You know, saving your clothes, which will ultimately save you money. Saving your lunchbox, your meals at home. You know, it is just about the principle of learning to save and be able to utilize it efficiently.
Speaking of, Waheeda, I mean, speaking of learning, those that don't necessarily have access to this program currently, where can they go to get such information?
Are you talking the youth that's out of school?
Absolutely, yes.
I think this is why we collaborate, and hence even the seminar looked at you know, youth and not only left it at learners at school. So the whole idea here is that you know, those who do not have access, who are not unable to find out, and this is why the project has started. And I think we're hoping that with these kind of you know, interventions and getting this kind of exposure, we would be able to, you know, reach out to all the learners and youth who don't know about it, and we can, you know, guide them along. And I think one of the things that we did discuss at the seminar was looking at how do we create a platform or a web page where learners can actually go and the youth can go and find. And I know
Beyond
the youth development, yes, you know, the youth, what do they call them? The Youth Development Corporation has already got something like that. But I think it's just about sharing information and communicating and telling them that, you know, this is where you can go and this is where you can access it. And the main thing is that once you access this, it is what you do with it.
Absolutely.
And that is very important. Like Ephraim said here, that, you know, savings is not only about saving your money. It is looking at what kind of a consumer are you. Are you going and buying designer clothes, or are you going and buying something that it's affordable? And we do know that, you know, there's these two evils. You know, it's like you've got a double-edged sword, where the youth is so taken on by being cool, by being the way the wealthy Western a kind of, I shouldn't say
cool
Western,
kids.
yes, the cool kids, you know, looking at what makes me go around, and they would be prepared to pay 800 Rand for a pair of shoes, whereas they could actually go and get one for 150 Rand. So I think, you know, those are the kind of lessons I think that's very, very important, because if we don't get that right, we would be 20 years, 30, 40 years from now talking the same thing. The thing is that we need to have a mindset shift. Absolutely. We need to change how we think as parents, how we think as youth, and how we think as consumers. And yes, of course, the education department has to play a big role, and we are trying in terms of already bringing in the kind of subjects we've, you know, that has come in. And when we look at the economic and management science subject as well, learners are assessed on everything they do. So it is part of the promotion mark. And many times, you know, we find that the youth will, the learners will say that, you know, the subject is not important because I need to go to a university to get a degree.
True.
And again, it is for the teachers and all of those in the schooling environment to say that going and getting an academic qualification is not bad, but it's not the be-all and the end-all, because you need to be able to go and choose the right kind of study you need to do that's going to make you become more productive. And whilst we're talking about, you know, entrepreneurship, there's also the intrapreneurship component, that those skills can also be used very, very effectively by people, you know, who are employed, purely because if you are employed, are you just satisfied with sitting there and doing this from 9 to 5 and you take all your tea breaks, etc., or are you going to look at that promotion post and work towards
That's what one of our viewers actually wrote to us and said. He said, you know, people study not necessarily to be entrepreneurs. They study towards a degree.
Yes, and sorry, if I may just add on that before I lose the thought. You know, we must understand that when you're looking at entrepreneurship, it means that a successful entrepreneur would be able to employ. So you see, the employee comes in, would be able to employ 2 or 3 or 4, and as they grow, more people. But at the end of the day, we've got to look at it in terms of how the one supports the other, because if we don't, we're going to get it wrong again. I thought I'd just put that in before.
Thank you so much, Waheeda. I mean, sisifikile semzulu futhi lakhe lana ekhuluma ngendaba ze-funding. I'm not sure ukuthi specifically mhlawumbe bekhuluma ngendaba zama-business aqalwa i-youth na, but siyazi ukuthi khona into ekuthiwa i-NYDA, but ungathini kuyena nje njengomlaleli?
Engakusho nje, as a banking association, we have recently just conducted a study in just doing a quick market analysis of who are the funders out there for my SMEs. There's plenty of funders out there. And I think the problem is how you access that funding. And I think as market players, we have a bigger role to play in educating those entrepreneurs as to how they access the funding. The fund in South Africa, funding is not the issue, it's how to access it.
And if I may come in there, I think it's how to access it and then how to implement it and how to use it. Because many times you find that the funding is made available, and before they even, they use the money is gone, because they feel, you know what, we need to go and rent offices at the most expensive space, and we need to get the 4x4, and the funding is gone. And the thing is, if you want to grow and if you want to improve, you have to look at what, you have to be realistic. This money is for you to start your business. You will get there eventually where you'd be able to afford all of those nice and luxury work environments.
Ephraim, do you niyakhuluma niyagcizelela lokhu menihamba kulama programs in?
That is what we teach, and it is received by youth here to cool. They even, they are creative young people. They want to come up with new ways of doing it in terms of entrepreneurship. We emphasize on the financial part of it to say, it is not only about you having money, but it's also about you knowing how to use that money.
Absolutely,
because it's important with bayisebenzisa kanjani leyo mali ebayitholile. And into kakhulu sisho ukuthi taking 10% of what you've so hardly earned, it is important that we save it for a rainy day for tomorrow. And you can even invest it to make sure that iyakusebenzela imali yakho. Usebenzisa imali yakho ukuthi isebenzele wena. Hayi ukuthi wena usebenzele imali. But imali yakho isebenzele wena.
All right, but Ephraim ibeke lapho mbukeli sazisa nomona isikhathi bo. It is time for our final commercial break. Siyabuya khonye manje. All right, mbukeli khumbula ukuthi soligoqa phela uhlelo. Ungashesha usithinte ku 011-714-6918 or 714-6919. Kodwa ke kuthiwa mbukeli ngeshwa izingcingo sesivalile because ngifuna ukunikeza ama guest wami ithuba ukuthi sigoqe. Now, let's talk about the seminar. I know you've been making reference to it from the start of the show, Waheeda. People are going to think this woman did not allow the guests to tell us more. I mean, this seminar, what were you trying to suss out from the various member countries that were part of it?
Okay, I think what we were trying to suss out, as you say, is to see what projects and programs they had in place and how we could actually learn from best practices. And then also provide support where the one was, if there was a need for something like that. So the main aim here was to look at how do we pull together industry experts and education experts from the region and the international partners, and then form a experts network, so that we can look and evaluate, and we can then try and see how do we move forward and strengthen what we have started, because what we've started now is still in its infancy, believe it or not. And we've got a lot to achieve. And it is very important to share ideas and to grow together, because I think if we work together, we will be able to do what we need to do.
So, Sfigel, ninanitholeni kule program as a way forward, as Waheeda has put it?
Yes. Seminar isitshengisile ukuthi all the participating member states, we all agreed that it is necessary to focus on social, financial, and entrepreneurship education for youth. So there was agreement, complete agreement there. But also it was, what we looked at was the different ways how it's infused into the curriculum. Some countries, it's a standalone subject. Other countries, it's throughout the schooling system. Other countries don't even have it in their curriculum. So it's also learning from each other and how you can improve your own model as a country. And for us, as the Banking Association, the way forward is obviously working with the SADC Banking Association members, is that clearly our work is cut out for us. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we remain very committed to the space. And those 3 commissions that were set up, which is in social and financial education, entrepreneurship, and teacher training. We shall support the department and the other countries.
But let's expand on that. I mean, departments are always complaining about the shortage of skills for various key sectors. Isn't those address Alezo when you improve on this model? Scaling up with Ephraim.
Yes, I think that is how we come in, because basically when you look at the teaching in schools, it's always that teacher in front of the learners, you know, directly giving information to the learners. But our approach is more on a child-centered methodology, where the young child is easily able to grasp and learn how to do things, and also bringing in the practical element of it, where now it's not only theory that you learn about entrepreneurship, but you're putting it into practice and you're able to deliver. And also from the seminar itself, I mean, we looked at how we aligning the social, the entrepreneurial, and the financial part of it, you know, to make sure that, you know, you work it together so that a young person comes out being developed holistically and not only on one area of their lives, you know, but the social, the entrepreneurial, and also the financial aspect of it.
And just to add on to my colleague, the one other thing that we found a lot of the participants were very interested in is what we've set up, which is the financial literacy spelling bee. The financial literacy spelling bee is just words and concepts that are financial. So the learners actually engage with those terms that they come across on a day-to-day basis in a fun way. And that's something that going forward that we're going to grow as well.
Waheeda?
Yes, I think to sum it all, you know, if we want to access, you know, the knowledge, the skills, we have to know what it is. And this is where the financial literacy comes into play, and we support it. And again, we have to work on it holistically. Whilst we talk of the learner being developed holistically, we have to take responsibility as a community, as a country, as a school, as an organization. And, you know, the most important thing, I think, for us is that bringing up a child and educating a child, it is the responsibility of the community. And it is, again, the responsibility of the child to take care of the community.
Waheeda, I have to ask you this very quickly before we go. When will this project be available throughout the nation? Can you give us a time frame? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No. In fact, it's there. It is just a matter of implementing. It is rolled out in all the schools that, you know, from grade 7 to 9. But like I say, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to the three of you, and a great initiative indeed. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us.
All right, again, Bugel, it's time to pack up bags and go. Manje kodwa ke mangibonge izivakashi zethu kanye nani babukeli. Please join us again next week Friday for another live consumer affairs discussion when we'll be looking at a money-making scheme M that has now captured the hearts and minds of many South Africans who are trying to beat the harsh economic times. Besikhuluma ngazo namhlanje. Ngingu Alisha Ntombi yakajali. Siyanivalelisa.